Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Tony Award winner Mark Rylance is back on Broadway at the Belasco Theater in Farinelli and the King, and we caught up with him and company just minutes after their opening night curtain rang down.
20 termini prestate, levos radio questo, levos
Once again, I want to thank you, like I just told you, for one of the most glorious nights I've spent in the theater. It is always great to have you come back to Broadway. It is opening night. How do you feel tonight?
Yeah, it's very thrilling. The opening nights, it's a very friendly audience and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs in the show. So it's fun when there's a responsive audience, you know. But also this city is so famous for song, for music and singing popular song. And to bring this, what was very popular music, the first time singers were singing for people rather than for the church and private families. To bring that to New York is very special.
So what fascinates you about this whole story? Like I said, I had seen the film, I had read some books on this. What fascinated you about the King and Farinelli?
A number of things, how it worked, why music was able to restore him. We know music's good for people who've lost their memory when they get older, it stirs the memory, but maybe there's some potential of it to harmonize people who are out of kilter, that the music somehow does this. I don't know, that's the question. And the other question is why Farinelli gave up everything he had and just sang for this man for the rest of his life. He never sang in public, and he was as famous as, say, Michael Jackson was in his time, and very wealthy and loved, and he gave it all up just to have this particular effect on this king. So that's an interesting part of the story too.
Well, first of all, it is opening night. Your Farinelli and the King has come to Broadway. How do you feel?
Oh, I am beyond excited. I mean, I'm overwhelmed by the reception that we've had here. And it's as if people have really taken us to their hearts. And that means a very great deal to me. That's all I wanted, really.
Well, New York and America is obsessed with your husband, Mark Rylance.
Oh, yes.
He could do anything in this town, but this is such a beautiful story and such a beautiful play, which I told you before, I'm fascinated with this story. Were you always fascinated by the story?
Well, when I heard about it, it was news to me. And I've worked as a composer for most of my life. And I'd seen the film Farinelli, which I think was in the 90s, and it's great, but it doesn't go as far chronologically as this story does. This story starts where that film finishes, really. And to me, this is the most interesting part, that this castrato gives everything up to sing to this very sad, unwell person. And he makes him, well, he restores functionality. He gives him back his life. So I thought, this is a story that I have to write.
It is your Broadway debut. It is opening night. How do you feel tonight?
I feel really excited. It's really fun, yeah. It's on Broadway, you know, we're having fun.
What was today like for you? Because, you know, Broadway debuts are really special. They only come once.
Yeah.
You'll be back. But what was today like? Was it a stressful day? Was it a relaxed day? What was your day like?
My day was fine, you know. It was just like, I had my day, I had my morning, you know, got up slowly, spent time with my family, and then I came in this afternoon and did a show. Yeah, it was great, you know.
I love that, Mark, you all meet beforehand for voice, don't you? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we come in probably about 2 hours before curtain up. We do a big, quite intense vocal warm-up, then physical warm-up all together, which is quite unusual, yeah, to do it that big a thing all together. But it's great. So we all come together. We all kind of, you know, work together. Then we have a little game. We play this amazing game called Isle Ball, which is
What's it called?
Isle Ball. Okay, yeah, it's really fun. It's a bit like, it's our own thing. And it's becoming bigger and bigger. And I think maybe in about 4 years it might be an Olympic sport. I think, yeah, and we'll rule it. We'll get medals.
So here we are at your Broadway debut, Farinelli and the King. How do you feel?
I'm elated, I'm exhausted, I'm so happy we've opened. It's such a strange thing to open after 2 weeks with an opera. We just open and then we close after 7 shows. So yeah, finally we get to sort of relax in a way and just give what we've done over the last 2 weeks for the next 14. Yeah, I can't believe it really. I never dreamed I would be on Broadway because it's not something that as an opera singer would necessarily consider they needed to do. But it's such an honour to work with Mark Rylance and this cast. There's such an amazing cast, and long may it rain for the next 14 weeks.
So I was going to ask you what this whole journey has been like for you. It's the beautiful melding of two different worlds, and I love what he's done. But there's a singing Farinelli and a speaking Farinelli, yet you blend so beautifully.
Well, by small coincidence, we look not too dissimilar. I mean, if there was a police lineup of people who looked a bit like us, we'd be in it. And I think any singer would tell you that they completely connect with this idea of two people being one body. I mean, Farinelli was Farinelli, the stage name, and Carlo Broschi, the man. And, you know, singing rules our lives a lot of the time. We have to go to bed early, we can't drink, we can't talk for too long. And then, likewise, our lives have to rule our singing. We have to take holidays, we have to spend time with our family. And so it completely makes sense to me that there are two people on this stage. And I likened it, and I've said this many times, to when you go to watch War Horse, the play, and you see this big cage of a horse with the puppeteers. And for the first 5 minutes, you're like, hang on, this looks like some guys moving stuff around. And then by the end of the evening, you have this emotional connection with what you totally believe to be a horse. So in that respect, I think that's kind of where we're going with the two Farinellis. To start with, it's quite arresting for the audience. They've seen Sam for a few minutes acting, and then suddenly I turn up singing. But I hope that makes it even more emotional for some of the music that many people won't know.
So here we are. It is your Broadway debut. How do you feel?
So happy that it's done. That we had a lovely audience, very warm audience. So just so delighted.
What a glorious role. Talk about who you play.
I play the Queen of Spain, Isabella Farnese, and she was an extraordinary woman. She was married to Philippe V, and he suffered from depression, and she heard Carlo Broschi Farinelli sing in London, and she was the kind of a pioneer of an early form of music therapy. So she brought this singer, she heard him sing, and she brought him to the palace, and he sang for the king, and the king was able to rule for a good few years after that. So it was a success, and they lived together, and Farinelli never sang in public again.
It is your Broadway debut. It is opening night. How do you feel?
Do you know, I feel absolutely fantastic. It was a great audience. It had a great reception. It's a great play. What can go wrong?
What a wonderful role you get to play. Talk about the man that you play and what you love about him.
Well, he's the only Spaniard in the play. His concerns really is Spain and the government and the existence of Spain. And he's up against this, what he would call Nancy fancy opera world, which he doesn't understand at all. So he's fighting that right from the beginning. But his beliefs are in the right place. He's concerned for Spain. And so, although he's a villain, a bit of a villain, his heart's in the right place.
What are you enjoying the most?
What am I enjoying? Oh, I'm just enjoying still being an actor, and I've been lucky in my life to find something when I was very young and have good fortune, and be able to still be doing it and just relaxing and enjoying it.
Remember what you were thinking when you took your bow tonight back on Broadway for opening night?
I was thinking, should I call my wife up? I hadn't prepared, and I was thinking, should I say something? And I thought, no, it's just this isn't. Let's just do it as we normally do it, and not do anything special.